Good morning and welcome to today's story. There was a man who was all into spiritual practices. He wanted to become a monk. A young man, but he was totally into meditation and prayer and reading spiritual books. So he had decided that he wanted to become a monk. So he didn't have any belongings. He didn't have any relatives or anybody like that. So he used to stay alone. He didn't have a house also of his own. He used to stay in an old ruined place where nobody was staying. Every day he would go into the village and he would beg for alms. Whatever he would get, he would eat. He would be happy with that. The rest of the time he would spend in his ruined home, where he would sit and he would either meditate or he would read some scriptures. He would contemplate on God, and he had dedicated his life for that. And that was what he wanted. One day what happened, a landlord happened to be passing by. He saw the sad state in which this young person was living. So he said, no, he said, okay, let me help this person. He gave this man a sack of rice, raw rice. The monk said, I don't want this. I don't even have any vessels or anything to cook. But then he said, no, doesn't matter. If in case you don't get any food any day, you can probably give this to some household and tell them to cook it and give you. So at least you will have food to eat. That was the intention. So the man said, okay. And he got that sack of rice and kept it in his broken home in the sense it was not a proper home. It was just a ruined home where nobody was staying and he was staying there. There were no vessels, nothing was there. He didn't have a gas stove, nothing. So he kept that sack there. That day night, a rat happened to enter there and it made a hole in that sack and ate up a little of the raw rice. The next day morning, the man saw this and he said, oh my God, a rat has come and it has made a hole in this. So every day the rat is going to come. Now the rat knows that there is food available there. And that is not nice, no, to eat a sack which has been kind of licked by the rat. So he was thinking what to do. They didn't have rat poison at that time. So he thought, and of course the rat is killed by a cat, right? So he wanted to safeguard his rice. And he went and got a cat and kept it in his home. So one day the cat finally caught the rat. Good, happy. No rat troubles anymore. But then the cat was there and this man had to take care of the cat. There was no other food to eat. Whatever he was begging, he was eating for himself. So he had to spare some for the cat. Then he thought, okay, maybe it is easier, to have some kind of a stove or something to at least give the cat some milk, to buy some milk, to give the cat milk. And he had this rice also. He could cook for himself also. So he started adding on into his house. He got a stove, again from begging. He didn't have money, no? So he got a stove, he got vessels. People would loan him vessels. So a small makeshift kitchen in his house for the cat. And then when he started making for the cat, he started making for himself also. Things went on like this. People saw him and said, why you are struggling so much? No, if there was a lady in the house, it would be so much easier for you. She can cook, she can clean, she can take care of your house. So the man thought, yeah, maybe that is right. I'm really struggling. Every day I have to cook, I have to wash the vessels, clean up. So he said, okay, fine, better I get married. So he went on and he got married. Once he got married, you can't stay in a house which is broken and open, right? You need a proper house. So he got a house for rent. When you have a house for rent, you have to pay money. He didn't have money, so he had to go for a job. He had to cut down on his reading, spiritual practices, meditations, all of that, because one after another the needs kept increasing. He had a wife to take care of, he had a cat to take care of, he needed a house, he needed money to pay the rent, he needed money to buy groceries, he had children, so he needed money for the children to go to school. So on it went, and from one cat it went on to become a full household. He was a man with a job. He had to take care of his wife and children, and all spiritual practices came to an end. He was no longer a monk. What is the moral of the story? One idea, one thought, one decision changed the life of a man from being a saint, a monk, to a family man. It was just that one thought. You remember how it started? It started with a rat. So the rat basically killed the monk inside that man, isn't it? To safeguard his rice from the rat, he got a cat. From the cat, it went on to food. From the food, it went on to vessels and kitchen and wife and children, and it went on and on. That's how it is for all of us also. It is just that first one thought, one decision, one idea, and that can change the path of your life from this side to that side, isn't it? So maybe you should be very careful about what thoughts we are holding on to, what thoughts we are following, because once we get into it, we don't even realize that we are missing or we are changing path, we are changing direction. We just follow that one idea and it goes on in that path. The other path remains and we don't even remember about it. If you like this story, do like, share and subscribe. Bye.